This time we don't want politicians near this dialogue. It must not be the usual dialogues we have seen in the past.
Kwa hivyo tunaunga mazungumzo na iwe purely mazungumzo ya mwananchi wa kawaida, si ya wanasiasa na wale bishop wa kuchukua brown envelope.
Mwananchi,
nguvu mashinani.
Bunge la mwananchi,
nguvu mashinani.
Members of the fourth estate, fellow Kenyans and the general public, we are gathered here as Bunge la mwananchi to register our voices on the issue of the National Intergenerational Conclave Dialogue as proposed by the Right Honorable RAILA Odinga. It is a conversation that is going on right now, and we feel as Bunge la mwananchi, we want to make our stand known on that issue. So I will read our formal statement here. My name is Robert Kiberenge. I'm with the Secretary General Isaac Otieno. I am with the Salim Munganga, who is on the Advisory Council. I'm with the Isa, who is also the Secretary of the Elections Board, and other leaders, including Wiki Aaron here, who is on the Youth Council. So I will read a formal statement, and then other leaders will make their off-cuff remarks. Our statement is titled "The Aftermath of Demonstrations and a Call for Intergenerational Conclave Dialogue." Bunge la mwananchi, a grassroots social justice movement in Kenya, has long been a platform for the ordinary citizen, the mwananchi, to voice concerns over social, political and economic injustices. Founded on the principles of inclusivity, equity and civic participation, Bunge la mwananchi functions as a people's parliament, enabling public discourse and action on national and local issues. In the aftermath of the recent demonstrations, which were marked by tensions between citizens and state authorities, Bunge la mwananchi has taken a leading role in 1. Calling for justice for victims of police brutality and unlawful arrests, as well as compensation and reparations for victims of police brutality. 2. Demanding accountability from government institutions and security agencies. 3. Advocating for inclusive national dialogue as a pathway to resolve grievances and prevent further unrest. 4. Mobilizing communities peacefully to continue pushing for structural reforms through civic engagement. Bunge la mwananchi consistent presence on the ground and its connection to ordinary citizens has positioned it as a credible voice in Kenya's civic space. The movement continues to champion non-violent activism and grassroots-driven dialogue, reinforcing the message that sustainable peace and justice can only be achieved through inclusive participation and respect for human rights. Fellow Kenyans, we have gathered here this afternoon as a grassroots social justice movement to register our voices on the aftermath of the demonstrations that have been taking place in Kenya for the last 1 year, and most importantly, to amplify the call for an intergenerational national conclave dialogue. In the wake of the demonstrations, the movement bore the brunt of consequences as many of our members were victims countrywide. Bunge la mwananchi, being an unpolitically aligned platform for ordinary citizens expressing themselves on pertinent issues affecting them, wishes to play a major role in dialogue during this critical moment in our nation's history. The recent Gen Z-led protests, while sparked by genuine grievances rooted in economic injustice, public debt mismanagement, state corruption, and general exclusion have also witnessed moments of confrontation, tension, and unfortunately, acts of violence, loss of lives, and mass destruction of property. We unequivocally condemn all forms of violence, whether from state security forces or individuals within the protest movements. We condemn police brutality, abductions, and detention without trial and extrajudicial killings. We equally condemn violent attack on policemen, looting and destruction of property. We also affirm the constitutional right to assembly, peaceful assembly, and civic expression, which must be protected at all times. The message behind the protest must not be lost. What we have witnessed is a loud and clear message from a generation that refuses to inherit silence, mediocrity, and impunity. Gen Z and the youth at large have challenged the consistency of this nation. While there are regrettable instances of violence during the protests, whether provoked or opportunistic, we must not allow these moments to overshadow the legitimacy of the calls for change. Accordingly, we demand: 1. Political leaders to immediately cease making inflammatory statements geared towards incitement and fueling more public anger. 2. Justice, compensation, and reparations to all victims of police brutality. A single drop of blood must be accounted for. 3. Constituting an intergenerational conclave dialogue, bringing together all generations, classes, religious representatives, youth, women, professional bodies, unions, trade unions, civil society, people living with disabilities, minorities, marginalized, and the media fraternity. 4. Politicians must stay away from the dialogue. The dialogue must be free of the usual political rhetoric. This time we don't want politicians near this dialogue. It must not be the usual dialogues we have seen in the past. Our call: a national intergenerational conclave dialogue. Bunge la Mwananchi, in collaboration with other people-centered movements and civil society organizations, now calls for a national intergenerational conclave dialogue to be convened within 14 days to address the root causes of public anger and to chart a new way forward. This conclave must be: 1. Inclusive, bringing together Gen Z, youth leaders, elders, women, informal sector representatives, civil society, religious leaders, government officials, and the media fraternity. 2. People-led, not dominated by political elites or scripted agendas. 3. The dialogue must be issue-driven, focused on justice, debt transparency, public budgeting, police reforms, youth unemployment, digital rights, civic education, and equity in resource allocation. 4. The dialogue must be transparent and accountable. All proceedings must be made public and outcome-oriented. Bunge la Mwananchi will be unveiling a format or a structure of the conclave dialogue and the issues to be deliberated. We urge the youth to continue organizing peacefully, not vandalizing, looting, and arson. We also call on the state to cease any form of intimidation, abductions, illegal detentions, extrajudicial killings, or surveillance against young organizers. Healing cannot happen without truth, and truth cannot flourish without space for dialogue. The future of Kenya cannot be negotiated behind closed doors. It must be co-created across generations, across classes, across tribes, and across regions. Conclusion: this is not about Gen Z. This is about the future of our republic, Kenya. It is time to stop talking at young people and start building with them. We call on the government, parliament, religious leaders, and all patriots of goodwill to answer to this call. Convene the intergenerational conclave, dialogue, give the people a voice, build a just Kenya. Wanjiku is watching, the youth are awake, and history is recording. Thank you so much. I will invite the Secretary General, Mr. Isaac Otieno, to make his remarks.
Until to date, ndio mazungumzo inatupeleka mali tu kwa hadi wa leo. Kwa hivyo tunaunga mazungumzo na iwe purely mazungumzo ya mwananchi wa kawaida, si ya wanasiasa na wale bishop wa kuchukua brown envelope. Asante.
Na kama bunge la mwananchi tumeshatengeneza structure ya mazungumzo, tuko nayo tayari na tumesha identify issues ambazo zinafaa zizungumziwe. Hii mazungumzo inaanzia in every village in Kenya. 1450 villages. Iende kwa ward, itoke kwa ward iende kwa constituency, itoke constituency iende county level, itoke county level ikuje national. Tunataka mpaka Ogeka kuwe na sauti kwa hiyo meza, Mturukana kuwe na sauti kwa hiyo meza. Asanteni.
Asante.